What's going on, Safemoon family, Safemoon army? Thanks again for joining me for yet another episode. If you are new here, subscribe. If you're not new here and haven't subscribed, subscribe. Smash that like button. Share this with all your friends. Just so you know, I am not a financial advisor. Anything you hear or see in this video is not financial advice. On today's show, we're going to be covering the possibility of Safemoon's blockchain being a universal validator for all cryptos in DeFi. So strap in because here we go. Okay, so before we get started, I want to throw this out there. If you guys are not on Twitter, get on Twitter. I'm Dark Moon Tim. Hang out in Safemoon After Dark. It is a Twitter space that is set up by Chris Harris and El Patron. It is a great space to do some major thinking into the possibilities of Safemoon. It's where I get a majority of all my information. There's a lot of stuff that gets thrown out there, and there's a lot of smart people that hang out in that room, so that's just a plug for that show. All right, now let's jump into this. This is a tweet from Wantron Soup, and this was a question that was asked to Papa on Twitter. If you guys aren't aware, Papa left Safemoon. He is now on Twitter giving out a little bits of information here and there about what's going on behind the inner workings of Safemoon. Obviously, he can only give out little pieces of information, but this is what we've been building because of that. This question was to Papa. It says, what's something interesting about hashtag Safemoon's blockchain? He said, the validation. I like how it validates. Well, what exactly is a validation? Well, a blockchain validator, according to PCMag.com, also called a blockchain verifier, validators are computers that maintain the blockchain's integrity by constantly computing the linkage from the first block to the last. There is generally an abbreviated version of the blockchain for the purpose that is much smaller than the full chain, which contains every transaction. Validators for a public blockchain are maintained primarily by volunteers who typically dedicate a computer to the process. Those are thousands of validation nodes for major blockchains such as Bitcoin or Ethereum. Now, let's jump on over to this to help bring that all together. How does a transaction get into a blockchain? Well, if you look down here to this diagram, you could see the beginning process of all this. How does it start? A transaction is requested and authenticated. It's then sent over to this block representing the transaction that is created. The block is sent to every node in the network. The nodes validate the transaction. Nodes receive a reward for proof of work, typically in cryptocurrency, that is then sent over to the block and it's added to the blockchain. The update is distributed across the network and the transaction is complete. One of the issues in the DeFi space is this node validation transaction process. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of computers to validate a node's transaction. As more transactions go through a blockchain, the more congestion happens. So when you go to make a transaction on a blockchain, you will pay higher gas fees and it will take a longer time to validate it because all these nodes are trying to be verified by multiple computers with big GPUs. And because of that, it's causing a lot of energy to be used to validate a transaction. If you jump over to SimpleSwap and you want to know what a cryptocurrency transaction fee is, it explains it as the cryptocurrency transaction fee, also known as a blockchain commission, blockchain fee, or network fee, is a fee one pays for transferring cryptocurrency to a particular address by miners. Blockchain is a chain of blocks controlled by miners. Each block consists of a certain number of transactions. Confirmation is a specific number of blocks that are added to the blockchain after the block with information about your transaction. In other words, in order for the cryptocurrency transfer process to complete successfully, it is necessary to confirm this process in the blockchain. Do you know how to transfer cryptocurrency faster? A huge number of people make cryptocurrency transactions every day. If you want to speed up the transfer of payments on the blockchain, then you need to pay a fee for the transfer. In this case, miners include your payment in the most profitable ones. The higher commission, the higher priority of adding the transaction to the blockchain. So a lot of these miners are making a lot of money by providing big GPUs, big energy eating computers to do these transactions so you can get a faster transaction through the blockchain. Well, is there a solution to this? Like I said, Thomas was really active on Twitter. This was a question that was asked to Papa. Papa, give us some exit clues so we can bear this dip. Papa then posted this GIF of a bridge. Now notice there's a top row on the bridge and there's a bottom row on this bridge. So what exactly does this mean? Well, what is a bridge in cryptocurrency? So if you fly on over to here, this gives you the description of what a bridge is in cryptocurrency. And you read down here, it says there are 2,957 cryptocurrencies in existence as of October 2019. Well, we know right now there are a lot more than them. Many of them operate operating solely on their respective blockchain. Until recently, these blockchains did not have a way of interacting with one another. What happens on a Bitcoin stays on a Bitcoin's blockchain, and so on. Blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, and Tron all have the same basic features, but they also boast their own unique features such as improved scalability and varying transaction speeds. If these chains were able to communicate, then a broader cryptocurrency market would experience an assortment of benefits. Beyond interoperability, the crypto markets would see an enhanced liquidity and increased adoption of crypto amongst the public. While the crypto landscape was not designed with interoperability in mind, there are tools that exist to enable cross-chain interactions. We call these tools bridges. Okay, so now that we know what a bridge is, what exactly am I getting at? We'll just hang in there. We'll put all this back together in a second. Now let's go back to Twitter really quick. The Safemoon Hound tweeted out on June 11th, notice how Safemoon doesn't need to tear down other projects to be awesome. This is the mark of a real project. If your biz needs to tear down others to cover ground, then your leadership is puke. And John Caroni responded to that and said, why waste time on negativity when you can spend that time on positivity? A rising tide rises all ships. Remember that phrase right there, a rising tide rises all ships. And if you've been on Twitter the last couple of days and you've been listening to what Papa said, Papa is trying to say that we all need to rise as a community with all cryptocurrencies together, which brings me to this new chart right here, using Safemoon's blockchain to validate for other blockchains. If you look down here, you can see this is Bitcoin and you can see that this is Ethereum. And you look in the center here, this is the global Safemoon blockchain running on a mesh network in space, which we covered in another episode. Now, why do I have these bridges in here? Let me explain this diagram to you. Bitcoin has a proof of work validation process. That proof of work validation process uses a lot of computer GPUs and energy to validate those processes. It also takes a long time to validate those processes because as more and more processes are delivered, the mathematical formulas that the computers have to solve to validate the processes get larger. Therefore, it takes more money, the gas network fees are higher, and it takes a long time to get a validated process. Also on the Ethereum network, it also is slow, and depending on when you get on there, the prices can also be very high. Now, if Safemoon developed a blockchain, which they did, and they said it can carry 3,000 instantaneous transactions at a minimum, can you imagine if they built a bridge that would bridge Bitcoin from their blockchain to the blockchain of Safemoon to validate it, which would be instantaneous using lower gas fees and then sending it back. Every cryptocurrency out there would then connect to this global Safemoon blockchain using its validation process, which Papa said he was the most excited about, and he also tweeted out these bridges so other blockchains can communicate with this blockchain. The possibilities of using Safemoon's blockchain to validate for other blockchains is insanely large. Can you imagine every cryptocurrency would be connecting to this global satellite mesh network to validate their processes because it would be instantaneous and it would be cheaper, way cheaper than the gas prices. And with the way that the Safemoon blockchain was built, we were told that as more transactions happen, the faster the blockchain gets. So it will just keep getting faster and the processing fees will be cheaper. And as we know, one of the things that Safemoon keeps saying is that they want to make the process of DeFi green energy efficient, and this would do it if we use the global Safemoon blockchain. Can you imagine this? This is huge. So what's an easy way to explain this? Imagine that the Safemoon blockchain is the Google of the internet. So when you want to do anything on the internet, you want to search anything, you go to Google and Google will take you to the right place. You want to do any type of transaction, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano would all connect to the Safemoon blockchain, get its validation through the Safemoon blockchain, go back to their own blockchain, and the possibilities for this are insane. So let's fly on over to Twitter really quick and hear this question that was asked to Papa from Jeremiah. He said, how big can Safemoon get? Papa answered, one day it can be the ABC of crypto. And he even clarified ABC as an alphabet as in Google. And we all know that if anyone wants to access the internet, that a lot of people use Google to access any website. They just Google it and that's where they get their information. Google is like the center hub of the internet. And he was basically saying that Safemoon would be the center hub of the validation system. Could you imagine that, guys? This is huge. All right, that's all I got for today's show. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, smash that like button, share with all your friends, and I'll see you in the next video.